What's going on, everyone, and welcome back to the Future Strategy Gaming channel. As always, I'm Drew, and this is episode 2 of This Week in Eorzea. We got a few topics to cover, so why don't we just get right to it? Now, officially, we are 2 months away from the release of Endwalker, and I'm sure after this past weekend's live letter, which had a super badass job action trailer, there's plenty to be excited for, even though it was 7 hours. So jumping into Square Enix news, the live letter merchandise has hit the lodestone, and there has been a ton of real life items that you can purchase, starting with the Y'shtola figurine, as well as a couple of different items that they showcased during the live letter. I don't know if you saw, I forget his name, not Yoshi P, but the other guy that he was up there with. He had the Sage and the Reaper pins on. There's also the vinyl of Endwalker's sound theme, and then a few other items. So make sure to check the link below. I'll put a link in the descriptions if you're interested in going and grabbing some of that stuff. Now, if you're interested in, Square Enix has also released the fan kit for Endwalker. There's a couple things in there. You've got your mounts and minions icons, the cell phone wallpapers, and the various desktop home screens, like wallpapers that you can put up that are 1440p, so beautiful looking ones. Make sure that you give those a look. Keep in mind, Nocturne for the Heroes event is now live, and it goes until October 18th, so make sure you go and get your car mount. Everyone's going to want that 4-seater, you know what I mean? And lastly, for Square Enix news, we have the 4th Tales of the Twilight is out on the lodestone, with the 5th one coming out pretty soon. I think it's going to release in the next couple of days. But these have been little short stories that they've been providing, which honestly, they've been great. Again, I'm not a huge lore guy, but I think they're really quick and easy reads, but they're also really fascinating to get some more depth. Community news. Now, as far as community news goes, it's hard not to want to talk about the live letter. What kind of showing we have, ranging from that cool ass job action trailer we got all the way to some of the in-game changes like teleportation fees, high quality items being removed, and the announcement of the media tour for Endwalker. While I do want to go into detail about all this stuff, I have already done so in separate videos on the channel, so make sure that you check those out. I will put up links to these videos down below. All right, because of the short section on community news, not covering all that stuff because they're going to be in other videos, this episode is going to be rather short, so let's get to personal progress and talk a little bit about that. Now, this week as well as next week, I have less time to play than I typically do. It's been a busy week for me, and then this coming week, starting tomorrow, I've got my in-laws coming into town, so they're going to take up a lot of my free time. So let's see, what did I accomplish this week? Well, Red Mage is officially level 70, which is great. I've been grinding that out, and I think, unfortunately, I'm probably going to cap out the classes that I already have at 70, get them to 80, and call it a day. With only 2 months left, the goal is to get those 80s, or any 80s that I've capped, to have enough time to get them to about 460 item levels, kind of what I've been looking at. I know people have been saying 490 is kind of the benchmark you want to hit, and I get that, but a lot of these classes are going to be secondary to me. They're not going to be mains or second mains for anything. So I don't really think I need to go too much and grind too much prior to the release of Endwalker, where I'm going to go insane. So, I mean, there's absolutely no reason that I should do burnout. So the Astro and the Monk are already done. Monk's at 510, Astro's at 509 now, so those guys are done. Now I'm going to get the Samurai, Warrior, Dancer, and Red Mage all to 80 within the next couple of weeks. All of them are at 70 right now. I have to do Boscha because my relic on my Astro is 3 out of 5 as far as the progression steps, so I can use Boscha with all these classes to level up, as well as doing other stuff. Then I think I'm going to blast up, just because I'm taking advantage of the queues, Scholar, not because I want to play Scholar, but because I want to play Summoner. Sidebar, holy crap, how does Summoner look, guys? Because it looks insane. Now, once all these once all these jobs are at cap, that's when I'm going to start to gear them, and it really just depends on queues, how quickly I can get all these guys geared. Now, as far as the main story quest has gone, as I spoke in my last video, I was up to 5.4. I have now completed 5.4, and so I still got 5.5 to finish up, so that should be done either this weekend or next week. I'm not exactly sure when I'm going to have enough time to sit down. I really like to, especially with the post patch content upgrades, I really like to sit down and do it all at once. That way it's fresh in my mind. I really hate getting into the middle of a quest chain and then just going, wait, what happened? Because it had been 3 weeks since I started it. Whereas if I can just sit down and give it 2-3 hours, you know, this really allows me to really take in everything that's going on. Now, past that, if I have the time, based on what I saw on the job action trailer, I am going to do everything in my power to get Dragoon to 80. I really liked what I saw. And I'm excited for the changes that are coming their way. I really like the idea of Blood of the Dragon becoming a trait. I like the group utility that it kind of offers, and I think aesthetically it looks very pleasing. Now, I've never played it at a high-end capacity, so I don't know, but I haven't heard anybody say Dragoon's not a fun play. So that's definitely going to be something I want. Sorry for the notification noise. Now it's... let's see, I think that's probably the only one that I'm worried that I won't get there. Everything else I feel like is going to get into its place, if you will. Now, so where we're 2 months out. Now is the time for Endwalker prep. And you want to start focusing on your last minute goals, any of your relic grinds. Finishing the MFSQ right now, honestly, would be my best recommendation. The reason I say that is because, you know, the length of these quest lines does happen to be long, and nothing's worse than spending the last, like, week, which is what I did leading into Shadowbringers, trying to get the last of Stormblood completed and just feeling like, God, it's been 9 hours of stuff because I took a long break and then... oh, I got to do it again. And don't get me wrong, thankfully, Shadowbringer's story was fantastic. So it's not like it was a big issue, but I do remember having feelings of burnout when it came out. And I want to make sure that I avoid that this time. So I'm going to get 5.5 completed as soon as possible. What I'd recommend doing is you doing the same, so that way you're not procrastinating and having it last minute. Also, make sure you get your... Disciple of the Hand and Disciple of the Land jobs in order heading into the expansion, so that way you're good to go. Obviously, with the removal of high quality items from gathering jobs, that'll change a little bit. So spend this time right now and use all of that. Doesn't matter what it is, use it all now. If you have any belts or any belts that you need to craft, get rid of those right now, because that market is going to tank. I know some belts are staying for aesthetic purposes, so some of them are going to be able to, you know, for glamour purposes, but that market's gone. You know, so you really want to do everything you can in your power to make as much gil now as you possibly can. For me personally, I'm leaving the miner and the goldsmith at their current ranges. I think miner's 51, and I think goldsmith is 54, 55 at this point, and I'll get back to those in 6.0. I just think with all the battle jobs, I need to focus my time on that stuff. And unfortunately, I've kind of missed the window to make as much money as I possibly could, whereas I'm going to go pretty hard because I have early access. So once I get my first or second job up to level 80 battle job, that's when I'll move in and go finish the goldsmith and the miner and start working on some of the other stuff, but take advantage of those opening raiders and the amount of gil that they like to spend. So we got a lot of fun stuff coming. What do you have left? I'm honestly, I'm really curious to see where everyone is in their progression, just because, you know, some of the people that watch this are obviously former WoW players, so they're playing catch up. There's also people who have been playing Final for such a long time that they're already in a good spot. So we're in crunch time. I really want to know where you're at. Do me a favor, sound off in the comments. What are you trying to do to prepare? What are you stoked to try out come Endwalker? Are you going to be in early access like I am? And what are you going to take advantage of during that time? Any narrative and any conversation is always welcome. As always, I'm Drew from Team Future Strategy. I appreciate you giving it a look. Take care.